All right. My name is Michael DeLue, and I'm the voice of Pull Up the Tape. If you're a fan of the NFL just like myself, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and join the Pull Up the Tape community. Only takes a couple seconds, and it helps me in being able to reach my long-term goals, all right? With that being said, let's get right into it. So, once again, another Monday, 2 Monday Night Football games. The second one was a little bit more competitive than the first one. The Cincinnati Bengals, got their first win of the season against the LA Rams. It's their first time playing since Super Bowl 52, I believe. They defeated the Rams 19-16. And the biggest story of today's game was everybody's, what's the word? Was everyone's, was going to be Joe Burrow's availability. Okay, last week he re-aggravated his calf injury that he suffered during training camp, and it wasn't really too. No one was too adamant on whether he was going to play or not. It wasn't a for sure. Nothing was certain that he was going to play. He ended up suiting up and he ended up playing. But Joe Burrow himself said that he takes pride in being able to be there for his teammates, and he wasn't his usual self. I'm gonna be honest, he wasn't his usual self, but he did enough to get the job done. This game for the Bengals clearly illustrated why it is good to have a very good field goal kicker, because Evan McPherson was just as valuable as the defense. He hit 4 field goals and all of them one was from 46, one was from 49, 48, 42, something along those lines. But truthfully, in my personal opinion, this game is not going to cut it. You need to score more than 19 points to win games in the NFL. More touchdowns is going to be needed from the Bengals, but the Bengals are going to be one of the better teams in the AFC, so I definitely feel like they're going to get it together, whatever the case may be. But I think for this win, it is very, very important to highlight the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense had 6 sacks. 6 sacks by 5 different players. A corner got a sack. The defensive DJ Reader got a sack. Troy Henderson. Who else? Their entire defensive line was wreaking havoc. Their linebackers were making plays. Zach Wilson had two. Is it Troy Wilson or Zach Wilson? Their linebacker, he had 2 interceptions of Matthew Stafford. The defense was responsible for today's win. They completely outclassed and outperformed the Rams on the most critical, I repeat, the most critical downs of the game. They held the Rams to 0-3 in the red zone. They held the Rams to 1 of 11 on third down. They stifled the Rams at every single opportunity. They forced the Rams to damn near have Matthew Stafford sitting in the back, sitting like a duck, waiting to get sacked. Like I said, on his drop, he was sacked 6 times. He was sacked 6 times coming into today's game. He was only sacked 1 time in 2 games, and that was against decent teams, against the Rams and the Seahawks. Both those teams only managed 1 sack on Matthew Stafford. Yesterday's game, he was sacked 6 times. The Bengals defense came to play. They seen that the offense didn't necessarily have it. The only person on offense that truly had it for the Bengals was probably Jamar Chase. Other than that, Joe Mixon had a decent night. Like I said, Joe Burrow was not Joe Burrow, but, he did enough for them to get the win. Joe Burrow was 26 of 49 for 259 yards. He didn't even have a touchdown, threw an interception. Joe Mixon, 19 carries, 65 yards. He had the only touchdown for the Bengals. Jamar Chase did Jamar Chase things. He had 12 catches for 141 yards. Coming into yesterday's game, he only had 10 receptions for the entire season on 7 yards per reception. But yesterday's game, 12 catches, 141 yards, and a whole lot of fucking flexing on the field for Jamar Chase, because he's a nigga. Jamar Chase is that guy. Tyler Boyd, 5 receptions, 39 yards. Overall, I don't want to say great team win, but this is a team win. You know what I mean? The Bengals couldn't have won this game without their defense and without the kicker. So it was I would say a good team win, great team win. Honestly, when you had to rely, honestly feel like when you had to rely on a unit that's not the offense for you to grind out a win, that's a great team win. Okay, because most teams rely on their offense to pull out dubs, but that's not what happened for the Bengals yesterday. Their defense literally stepped up and made it happen, made it shake. Honestly, to the Rams. The Rams were fucking one-dimensional as fuck, and they were predictable as fuck. Their play call, 33 passes, 13 runs. In my opinion, they set up their offensive line to fail. Sean McVay probably called one of the poorest games I've ever seen in my fucking life. And this season for the Rams will be, even though people, I don't know. The Rams are 1-2 right now. I mean, I think that's a little bit better than they expected themselves to be, honestly, considering what they were last season. Last season, they were fucking trash. But Matthew Stafford was sacked. Coming into his game, Matthew Stafford was only sacked one time in 2 games. Yesterday's game, he was sacked 6 times. Offensive line was essentially set up to fail. Sean McVay, again. Sean McVay I honestly think he blew this game plain and simple. The game was close for the most part. Well into the third quarter, the score was 9-6. The Rams had a chance to win this game and go to 2-1. But Sean McVay did, honestly, in my opinion, one of the worst coaching jobs he's ever done. He completely abandoned the run. When they finally got into the red zone on 1st and 3 from the 3-yard line, on 1st and goal from the 3-yard line, they call a pass play, and then Matthew Stafford gets sacked, and then that results in them having to take a field goal. And another time on 3rd and 1, McVay calls a pass on 3rd and 1. I don't understand how you don't run the ball in that situation, but, I mean, to each his own. I mean, you see a lot of funky things sometimes in the NFL that just makes you wonder, these guys are supposed to be, good at football and, and the best of the best and be some of the most brilliant minds in the game and just call bullshit-ass plays. Again, the Rams were 1 of 11 on 3rd down. That's not going to cut it. That's never going to cut it. That's less than 10%. That's never going to cut it. You're not going to win games like that. They were 0 for 3 in the red zone. Matthew Stafford, pretty shitty night if you ask me. 18 of 33, 269 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Kyron Williams only had 10 carries for 38 yards. Puka Nacua, 5 receptions for 72 yards. Tyler Higbee, 5 receptions for 71 yards. Other than that, nothing really happened for the Rams. Outside of the Rams' first drive and the Rams' last drive of the game, nothing really happened, honestly. Nothing really happened. They had 2 good drives all game long. That's about it, honestly. So, I mean, the Bengals grinded out the W. They needed the W. They couldn't afford to start the season off 0-3. That's fucking terrible. But lucky, they were a desperate team. They were playing at home. They got it together. Congratulations to them. With that being said, that's going to conclude today's video. My name is Michael Dulu. I'm the voice of Pull Up the Tape. If you are an NFL fan or a fan of the NFL just like myself, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, join the Pull Up the Tape community. It only takes a couple seconds, and why the fuck not? Help a brother out, all right? With that being said, catch me on the next video, all right? I'm out this bitch.